Trigger phone video responses. Okay, we don't want to do that. Let's see what we got here. Daryl, what's going on? Let me see if you guys are tuning in. Make sure you guys, one of them you guys can't hear. Be right back. All right, I am back. Let's just plug this in. Instagram. Ow. All right. Boris, what's going on? What is that? Something, the loyal. Bio the Royal, maybe? Bio the Royal, what's going on, buddy? Waving back to you. Just gonna give you guys a bit of time to log in. Once a couple more people are in, we're gonna get started. Just to give you guys an update of what's going on in my wonderful life. I am in Vegas right now. Mystery and I have been in Vegas for 5 days now, just kind of enjoying a bit, trying to look at places in Vegas because we're considering moving here. So that's been happening all week. Other than that, he just flew out right now. He's back in LA to do a boot camp with Neil Strauss. He had invited me to go to it, to tag along, as he said, you should be here. They need to hear the mindset. But unfortunately, right now, there's just a lot of stuff going on my end that I couldn't make it. But maybe that's in the future where you can catch Neil Strauss, aka Style, Mystery, and myself under one roof. So be on the lookout for that. If you guys have any interest in any of that, let me know, and I can put you in touch with the right people to sign up for that. Boris, getting ready for the gym and a couple of sets while out. Good. Yes, you definitely need to open more sets. Boris is one of the Skype students that I have, and I advocate very highly on the opening a lot of sets so that you get a lot of different reference points. And Boris is getting to know what that feels like once he goes out to open a lot of sets, and it's causing for most people, it's causing a lot of social anxiety, a lot of approach anxiety, but we need to overcome it in order for the real game to start. So that's where we're all phasing right now with his progress. Let's see here. If you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to send them on through. As I said before, I am on Facebook here and Instagram right next to it. So I'll be taking questions from both sides. If you guys have any sticking points that's happening, anything that you guys see consistently in your game, please share them here and I will answer whatever questions you guys have. In addition to that, I also have questions that guys have sent me today for me to answer on live. So let me just pull those up and we'll get started. Okay, so one of the first questions that I got asked this morning was routines or improvised? Which way is better, or both? In my opinion, I think for guys who are initially starting out, and what I mean by starting out, because I think there's a lot of different misconceptions as to what that means. I don't mean like, oh, you just got into the game a few months ago. I mean like your progress is at a newbie level still. No matter how many years you've put into it, no matter how many times you've gamed, your progress is still at the same level because you haven't yet committed fully to the process or to the system in order to reap the benefits that the system and the process offers. So I'm talking at a very beginner level, skill set wise. For me, it's about putting as much structure as possible behind what bad behavior you're doing right now so that it starts to autocorrect those bad behaviors. So routines usually will assist that, because a lot of the times what guys suffer with the most is that they don't know what to say once they're in the group. And that can be solved with having canned material that you've learned and memorized and have gotten good at delivering, so that you're able to get over any anxiety that you have in approaching new groups. And you can simply just go in with having something to say, which is, we know, tried and tested to compel and cause reactions. What that will allow you to do is start to forget about what to say, but more importantly, how to say things. And once you get those lessons under your belt, then it will be natural for you to not say the routines as often, but to start peppering in things from your own life. However, this time you'll be able to say them in ways that causes people to react positively because of the delivery things that you have learned from those routines. So the truth of the matter is that both will be advantageous to you. Remember, any of the things that we teach is basically a tool for an artist. And because it's a tool, you're able to use it or not use it whenever you would like. So keep that in mind. In my opinion, I would say that the best way to do it is to have both. However, when you're starting out, having a systemized game plan with stacks and routines is going to be the best case scenario for you to get your skill set faster than if you just tried to do whatever it is that you're doing, or trying to implement your own system within a system. So I would say both. Let's see here. Another question that was asked was, what are some effective ways to get a one-night stand? See, personally, for me, I'm never out to get a one-night stand. I don't find any advantage in having one-night stands. In fact, it does a lot worse for you than it does well for you. In my opinion, to be able to go out, show people the best self that you can show people, and have things happen because of it, is a way better game plan than to go out and make yourself an agenda guy in, let me get a one-night stand. Because to be honest with you, you're going to operate from a place of being completely needy. And if you go into it that way, if you don't get the one-night stand, it's just going to start to create these solidified truths in your mind for how things are after that. So if you're not getting the one-night lay or the same night lay as you would like, then the next night you go out, you have that failure that you set out to accomplish and didn't, kind of tagging along on the second night. And if you do that months on end, then you're going to start to develop a lot of bad behavior, because you'll just be fortifying and solidifying the failures of me trying to get laid that same night. What I would say is to make it about the process and getting your skill set better in talking to people and conveying your best self. And then once that skill set is developed, you're going to have people that naturally want to align with you, and then you can start your sexual relationships there. So that would be my advice for that. I personally don't think that going out for one-night stands is a thing anymore. Maybe, years and years and years ago, fine, but the mentality should shift now into going out and just being the best person that you can be. And if you do that correctly, things will happen around you to where girls will want to chase you. And as long as you know how to handle it when they chase you, you're going to be at a better position to have them in your life and start sexual relationships with them, because it's going to be a mutual thing, as opposed to you going out and trying to get a one-night stand, which is a very selfish thing for you to do, right? I get it. We're all guys. We all have urges, but the urges have to be satisfied with logic, not urges of going out and just trying to pick up girls. A lot of guys come into it. I get it. They come into it because they want more girls in their life. However, if you stay agenda-based throughout this journey, you will not get the benefits of what this journey can offer. So getting that mindset out of your processing, out of your operating system, is what's needed for you to succeed. So get rid of that, and that's going to help you. Let's see some questions on here. He said, bro, when I learn good English, I will pay for all of your material. Hey, no worries. You know, to me, it's, you know what you have to do. For the guys that, you know, don't have any of my courses, don't have any of my boot camps, have never done anything with me, Skype sessions, have never read an ebook, those guys, I don't necessarily think they're at a disadvantage per se, because they just don't know the world that I offer. I think once you know the world I offer, then you start to feel like you're feeling, where it's like, fuck, I'm missing out because I don't know how to speak English, or, oh, I can't afford the programs. But the truth of the matter is, you have everything that you need to get good at this, at least at a beginner level right now. You know, you just have to go out and do the sets. So more importantly than buying material and buying products is get out of the house and start opening some sets. And if you're doing that consistently and things are unfolding and you're learning things about your game, then it's time to do a Skype session. Then it's time to do a boot camp, because it makes sense to do so, because you're finding habitual patterns. But if you're first starting out, or if things are not yet fully dove into and you're just kind of dabbling, then that can wait. So don't feel like you're missing out. Let's see here. How do we show value without self-qualifying? For you to show value and not have to appear like you're trying to brag or you're trying to win people over is, where is the attention of the story going? See, most guys focus on the facts and the bragging aspects of it, you know? It's, yeah, we were at the nightclub and we got free access and blah, 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 blah. And they think that that's a way to convey value, because it shows people that, oh, you know, I have all these things available. The truth of the matter is, people that have that as a reality, they don't really talk about it because it's just simply their reality. The example that I like to give is, if we all owned Lambos and we had owned these Lambos for 10 years, and it's just a thing that we do every couple of years, we just grab new Lambos, all of us, then the next time we got together, I wouldn't say to you guys, hey, do you want to grab the Lambos and go on a Lambo ride? I would just say, hey guys, you want to grab the cars and go for a ride? Because that would be our reality. So to brag and to talk about things and to always have this crazy life where, like, you know, it's always celebrity this and models that and all this stuff, it's just not, people don't like that shit. You know, people with small minds can find that attractive in people, but people that have high value, that's a lifestyle thing for them. That's a custom for them. So there's no value in it that you have that if they already live that similar life. So that's what I would say to that. Don't brag to people. Tell them stories about feelings and emotions, and you're going to have a lot more better, compelling essence in your story than if you try to make it a big thing about, you know, what do I got to say in order to impress people. So show value by capturing the 6 evolutionary attraction switches, which is pre-selection, leader of men, protector of loved ones, willingness to emote, willingness to walk away, and successful risk-taking. If those are embedded in your stories, you will find that people will find you more attractive because of that. So make sure that your stories implement those things and have those things in it, and you're going to be at a lot better advantage. Let's see here. Let's take one from Facebook. Let me know if that answers your question. And if it does, just let me know in the comments or send some likes or whatever it is that it happens here, so that way I know that we covered it. Let's see here. Can you discuss natural charisma versus developed charisma? Yes. Anything that is natural when it comes to social skills, when it comes to people skills, remember, it's not that it's natural, it's that it's learned through experience reference points earlier than most people. That's what it is. It's that certain people have gotten certain things that have carefully fine-tuned whatever skill set that it is that they've developed, and that right there is how they got it. That's how they naturally developed it. To me, it's how do we simulate charisma for the guy that doesn't have it naturally? How can he simulate it? And charisma to me is nothing more than to have this infectious energy of where you genuinely care about what people are saying, you're listening, you're attentive, but that anytime that you talk, it's also a value. So anytime that you talk, people have a benefit and they can walk forward after that interaction with something more positive than they had prior to it. So that to me is charisma. If you're talking to things and you're into what you're saying and you're not saying it for people, that to me will come off on a very practical sense as a very charismatic person. So it's how do we simulate charisma if we don't have it naturally embedded in our personalities or in our delivery to do so? Hope that answers your question, Mario. Hope you read the article on approach anxiety as well. By the way, on AskColgate.com, there is a new article on approach anxiety and the old-fashioned way to eliminate it. So if you guys have any interest in that, make sure you check that out on AskColgate.com/blog. And I also have some other articles on there that's worth reading as well. Let's see here. Hey Colgate, I have a question. Sometimes I'll be in a set and it'll be going well, but there will be an awkward tension and the girls aren't leaving, but I often bail out. Should I neg or go back later? If you mean like the set is starting to stale out, that means to me that you're not proactively guiding and leading the set. It is up to you to lead the set. If you don't, the set will most likely stale out. So in order for me to avoid any awkward tension, I'd rather create tension by breaking rapport. If I break rapport, I'm able to build it up again and have it be where I need it to be. So before it even starts to get boring or stale out, or the girls are not interested anymore, or they, are just there, they're not leaving, but they're not committed, I will ultimately say something or do something so that it completely breaks rapport, and then I'm able to correct that. Because as Mystery says, if I can elicit the drama into the set, I'm better able to manage it than if they elicit the drama into the set. So keep that in mind. I don't necessarily think it'd be a neg. I just think you have to break rapport. You can do it with a neg, but you can also do it with a with an IVD, with an IOD, an indicator of disinterest. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a neg, something that you say. It could just be, you looking a bit bored, or you just saying, okay, all right. So it makes it look like you're not that interested. That way it gives them the opportunity to reinitiate and re-engage with something a bit more lively, and then you'll be able to gauge their investment by doing that. Let's see here. Hopefully that answers the question. How do you practice multiple threading with your stories? I practice multiple threading by having as many conversational points overlap as possible. So if I'm ever saying something, I can always draw in from things that I've learned, from things that I've seen, from things that I've processed, different reference points. I am, however, mindful that in social interactions, certain things and certain topics are just standard for most people to be able to talk about and understand and comprehend and contribute to. So those topics I tend to dive deep into so that whenever I meet new people, whatever it is that they're talking about, I'm able to meet them at that level. And if I have something that I can share about something that they're into, they're going to value me a lot more because of it. So if I'm sharing a story and I say, yeah, my friend and I, we were in Vegas. Have you ever been? Oh my God, next time you go to Vegas, there's two things that you have to do. You have to A and you have to B. See how before I was telling a story about how I was in Vegas and this is happening, but now I'm sharing what you have to do in Vegas? Well, that's just something that can be done. You can get into the layers of what you're talking about. And, if I'm talking about a trip to Vegas and I'm talking about, oh, you have to go to this restaurant. Do you know why you have to go to this restaurant? Because they make awesome, awesome salads. See, most places, salad to them is just a thing they do because they know people like it. But certain places, they actually go out of their way. Like they make the Parmesan crisps. You know the little Parmesan crisps when you put Parmesan on like a silicone mat and then you bake it and it becomes like this hard chip? They do that. See, we went from talking to Vegas to now talking about what you have to do in Vegas to now talking about Parmesan crisps and what makes a good salad. So it's just about getting into the layers of what you're talking about and being able to peel back each of those layers to talk about those things more. And the more reference points you have in talking in things that you've learned in, cultural stuff, chick crack, as they say, things that girls are interested in, you're going to be at a better position to be able to dive deeper into those areas to share a bit more essence and also share insight and intellect on what you think about those things. So I multiple thread in that way where I never just talk about one thing. as I talk about something, I'll say, you know what, that actually reminds me, and I'll talk about something else within that. So that's how I would practice that. And then roll-offs is just your willingness to walk away. You have to practice rolling off and saying, all right, that's all you get. Oh my God, stop touching me. It's like $5 every time you touch. Oh my God, are we starting a tab? All these things have to be said because your ability to walk away or roll off, as you're saying, is going to be a very attractive characteristic trait to any girl that sees that, because it conveys a non-neediness. So how do you practice it? You do it. You make sure that you put it on your list of things to practice on 2 nights out of the week for the next 2 weeks. And then eventually it will start to ingrain that you just have to roll off because you'll see the benefits in it. Alrighty? Hopefully that answers that. Yep, that's good advice. Thanks. Good. Glad to help. Let's see here. Does showing disinterest when a girl is talking in set have any benefit? It does. It does have benefit. It shows that you're not fully committed to listening to her. With that said, there's a caveat, because you do want to give people your undivided attention, but only when it's earned. So if I say an opener and I say, you know, hey, is kissing cheating? And she says, well, no, I don't think kissing is cheating. And I don't look at her, I'm looking away. I'm too aloof for her to even respect the fact that I asked her the question, and she's not going to want to answer it. So I need to engage and give her eye contact, and not just her, but also the group as well, because I've asked the group, and that's going to elicit a lot better responses. Now, if she's telling me a story and she's sort of bragging to me and she's DHVing to me because I've qualified her and now it's her chance to sort of impress me, in that case, I can kind of look away so that it starts to create this thing to her where your bragging doesn't make a difference to me. You know, all the stuff that you're saying is great and all, but it's not what I'm looking for right now. I don't care about, you know, what agency you work for. I don't care how many times you shot this month. What I care about are other things. So you telling me this, I will actively show you disinterest because I'm not concerned for it. And that's a genuine thing. I just don't care, you know, when people talk about their accolades. You know, if people should have a general sense of getting things done. And as long as you're getting things done, you're purposeful. And as long as you have purpose, you're doing the right thing. So for you to go on and start just bragging about what you have and this, that, and the other, I just don't like that style. It's just not a style of game that I choose to do. So I don't like it when girls do it either. It doesn't impress me, really. Let's see here. To piggyback off an earlier question, what is the purpose of breaking rapport? What's the conceptual understanding from a high-value male perspective? One thing that I picked up on from your answer is using it to regain control and be able to lead. Any other tips? Yes. So the reason that you break rapport is because a guy that's seeking an alignment is not willing to. He is on the opposite hand trying to build rapport and trying to get along and be agreeable and be a nice guy and have conversations. It makes it so that he operates from a place where a girl says, I went scuba diving last June. And the guy goes, oh, scuba diving? Yeah, my uncle's friend's sister's brother's friend does that, you know? He's really into it. He's done it like 3 times. When it's like, what the fuck? Why are you even mentioning this person, that person, and this person just to find a commonality so that it looks like you're getting along with the girl? You're trying to fabricate rapport, and that will make people reserved because they can see right through that. The girls are smarter than that. So we break rapport because it allows us to then rebuild it. But more importantly, because we broke rapport, it establishes that we're not that invested and we're willing to do it. So that's why we break rapport. Make sense? Let's see here. Another question is, what if on a 2-set you get IOIs from the obstacle instead of the target? This is a question that a lot of guys mess up in, right? They go into a set, they start talking to the girls. Let's say it's a 2-set of girls, and you know they have a target in mind, and they're talking to the obstacle, and all of a sudden the target doesn't seem interested, but the obstacle does, and they're giving them more attention. Guess what? That's expected. You know, in a group of any 2 girls, the girl that is higher value in the sense of her beauty or what she's got going on, she's gonna not give you as much as the girl that isn't, because the girl that is used to all the guys hitting on that girl. So the fact that you're talking to her now can make her feel good enough to give you a bit more than that girl is doing. What happens then? Well, the fool or the guy that doesn't know better, he's gonna now convert his attention into the obstacle and run game on the obstacle so that he can try to at least salvage something out of the set because the target isn't into him. Where the pro is going to practice with the target in mind, still being the target, so that he practices perfect for maybe not this set that it won't work out, but maybe the next set that he needs the skill set there in order to back up. He'll have practice perfect for that other set. So I stick to the game plan. Of course the obstacle is gonna find me attractive. That's expected. But it's lines like, oh, I'm gonna make her my little sister. She's fucking cool. Is what's gonna help assist in me conveying my intent, which is that I don't have any sexual desire for you. I want to make you my sister. You're going to take care of me against all the other girls here tonight. All these little statements are going to help create the frame of this isn't sexualized. This isn't, me trying to align with you in that way. It's just a friendship. And I will make that distinction very clear. So don't get caught up in switching the game plan in halfway through your set because someone's giving you energy, because more importantly, it's making you reactive. It's solidifying bad behavior so that the next time you're in set, if that happens again, you won't learn to deal with it. You'll just be getting the obstacle's attention, which is going to happen. So I like to practice perfect, which is what I'm saying. And I suggest that, any guy that's listening in, my students definitely know to practice perfect. So any guy listening in should do the same. What ways do you show girls your sexual prowess? Personally, I don't like to show sexual prowess until it's earned, until we have a mutual understanding that we're going to align. To be the guy going around in field and without it being warranted to show your sexual prowess is not my MO at all. A girl can see that I'm sexualized through my stories and through what I find humorous and the way that I sexualize things that aren't sexual. Like if a girl puts milk on a counter and she says, "Here's your milk," I can say, "Oh, okay." And for whatever reason, just me saying, "Oh, okay," makes it sexualized. So I'll do things like that and convey it that way instead of being the guy that's, trying to convey sexuality in his sets and all that weird kind of behavior that just, honestly, it leaves me with a weird thought and feeling, so I can imagine that for girls it's even more so. So I stay away from it. Sexual essence should be shown in seduction or after you start a sexual relationship. That's when it's the time for it. Let's see here. If you create friendship at first, how do you sexualize it to a close? If you're friends with the girl first, the best thing that you can do is to fuck off and disappear for a bit and recreate yourself to the way that when you come back to that girl after a few months, she can see that there's different points in your character that are different, and then she can find something that wasn't there before to maybe want to align with and go from there. If you're just friends with somebody to try to sexualize it, you'll lose your friendship. Because the person that you are right now, if it was a person that was able to sexualize it with that girl, you would have done so naturally and it would have just happened. But because it didn't happen and you guys are more friends, more time than not, and I'm not saying this as a general rule, but more time than not, it means that there just isn't any characteristic traits that the girl finds attractive enough to align on a sexual relationship level. So your best bet is to go off, work on yourself, come back, have some stories that you can share that are different from the way that you were doing it before, and you'll have a higher chance of getting that girl that is your friend right now. Let's see here. Tips to help make approaching more fun and less scary. I just wrote an article on that. So Dell, if you have any interest in how to make the approaches less scary, check out the article on ASKCOLGATE.com /blog. It's the first article. It's the latest one that I did. Came out on Monday. Alrighty? But to answer your question briefly, how do you make approaching more fun? Well, you make about the process. You make it about the process and not the result. That's going to help it be a lot more fun, so that you just know that I just have to approach. I don't have to do anything else, just approach. I just took a sip of gin, so that happened. Anyways, so how to make it less scary is you knowing that at the end of the approach, there is a skill set that will be learned, and that is how to approach. And as long as you know that I just have to get through enough approaches in order for me to desensitize and not make it a big deal, so that when I need to approach, it's not a factor that's going to get in my way, you'll have a lot more fun, and it's going to appear to be less scary because it's just a process. You know, that's the quick advice that I can give you on here. But like I said, check out that article. It gives you really good practical ways on how to do it, so that you can smash through any anxiety or any fear that you have with approaching. Alrighty? I'm going to take one more question, and then I'm going to get going, because I plan on going out tonight and getting some food on the strip. So yeah, I have to get ready and make it an early night for dinner. And then after that, I will be back here. The hot tub is heating up right now, so by that time it's going to be nice and warm, and then I'm going to chill there for the rest of the night. So let's get one more question out of the way, and then we can talk about anything that wasn't answered here. We'll cover it on next week's live. Alrighty? Let's see here. This one here I can answer really quickly for you, Jay. What are the common IOIs that girls exhibit besides strong eye contact and hair touching? Well, they'll fix themselves. They will reinitiate the conversation. They will hit you playfully. They will initiate that you guys do something afterwards. They'll initiate number closes. They'll initiate going somewhere after that venue. We'll ask you questions like what are you doing, what's your name, where are you from? All these things are indicators of interest from girls, so be mindful. The next level would be to how to decipher from false indicators of interest and real ones, or how to decipher from real indicators of disinterest to false ones. So those are the levels of that. But for now, those are the common IOIs. Be on the lookout for them. And if you're not eliciting them, then that means your stories and your routines have to pack a bit more punch. Let's see here. Let's get one from Facebook. Getting more sets with 7s versus getting fewer sets with 9s for novice guys like me. Is it better, more quantity in an easier venue, or less sets, or a more difficult venue? Both. You have to get in both. It's an easier grind to go towards 7s, sure, but you get more experience learning from higher value sets. So you have to do both. It's not to say, oh, we pick one or the other. Remember, it's social dynamics. Eventually, if you want a 9 in your life, you're gonna have to have practice enough with 9s to be able to find out all the things not to do to then get the 9. So it's both, Mario. You have to do both. Make sure that you make a night for, the low value venues where you can get, 16, 20 sets in with a bunch of 7s, and then make it a night where you go after 8 to 10 sets with some higher value people, 8+. So both, I would recommend. All right, one more question, and then we're gonna stop this. Let's see here. I don't recommend buying peacock clothes at any particular place. There isn't a store for peacocking in particular. My thing with finding items is that you have to be on the lookout for items. It has to become a part of some of the things that you do. God damn it. It has to become a part of the things that you do. So don't make it about, going to a store and trying to get a look. It's a process. You have to make it that you find interesting items because you're looking for them. I need a new bracelet. That's what's in my mind. So whenever I'm places, I make sure to take some time to look at new bracelets. I don't just go out to a fucking store or online and buy a new bracelet and that's me peacocking like most guys. It's all about finding the particular items that will make people give you compliments for and allows you to stand out instead of everybody else. So that's the answer to that one. And then the last question is, what do I think about Mystery? I love Mystery. Mystery's a great guy. There's not a lot of guys in the pickup industry that I really know, for that matter, personally. But Mystery is definitely one of the guys that I do know. I've known him for 16 years now. We're good friends. We travel the world together. We do boot camps together. So yeah, Mystery is a great guy. As far as his pickup and his coaching skills, they're world class. We all know that. That doesn't have to be said. So nothing really in particular bad that I would say about Eric to you guys that I haven't said to him in my opinion. But yeah, I love the guy. He's definitely as far as people that I definitely appreciate, he's one of them. So he gets it. It's good to have conversations with him when we're just hanging around and we're talking shop, or we're talking game, or we're talking about any of the things that we talk about. His insight is always appreciated. So yeah, Eric is great. Mystery is an awesome guy, as you guys know. So yeah, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I know it was a bit last minute. With the traveling and stuff, it makes it very hard for me to figure out what time to do the lives, because things just change so much with me being either on the West Coast or the East Coast. So as a standard, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if that's a good time for you guys, we'll stick to that. Today, it's obviously 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just because I'm in Vegas and I figured, I didn't want to do a live at, 12 p.m., especially if I had Skype calls today, which I did. So for me, let's figure out the times that works best for you guys. I'm committed to doing the lives every Wednesday. So whatever time works best for you guys, you can shoot them in the comments or shoot me a DM, and I will start to consider what's best for everybody so that you guys can tune in and get some help. In addition to that, there is another weekly Colgate mission up right now on Instagram. If you want to go to the page for that, it's Ask Colgate Missions, or you can just go on Ask Colgate and get the mission there. Make sure you guys do those missions. I'm not just putting shit together and releasing it so that you guys can just overlook it. If you do those things every week, they will help your game. So it's a very easy way for you guys, the guys that can't make it to boot camp, the guys that can't afford this, that, and the other. Do the weekly missions. I guarantee you your game's going to get a lot better if you just commit the time to doing those than if you don't. Aside from that, the Mindset ebook is doing awesome. We made a ton of sales on it this week, which is fucking kick-ass. I appreciate all you guys that are buying it. I appreciate the support, really. Mystery had me jump in on his mentorship Skype calls to talk about mindset, because he says that I am really good at capturing what guys need for the mindset. So if you find that, there's some inner game things, or there's a perspective that you're taking right now that's getting in the way of your game, the mindset will definitely help you guys get your minds to where it needs to be. So pick that up if that's any interest. Aside from that, boot camps are selling every single day. I suggest that if you guys want to do boot camps, definitely don't wait out. Definitely get a deposit in sooner rather than later. That way you're sure to get a seat, because otherwise you're just kind of risking waiting to the last minute, which with my boot camps doesn't really happen, thankfully. So, if you're waiting for deals and discounts and things like that, like a lot of companies do, yeah, chances are that that's not going to happen here, just because I don't believe in them personally. That's something that Mystery and I, we've had conversations for it, and we just don't do. So if you guys want to get on a boot camp, send me a message. There's a ton of information on what boot camps I offer. I have 2 more seats on my Legends program, which is the 10-day boot camp in Vegas and LA for 10 different styles of game. So if you guys have any interest in that, definitely let me know. That one requires an application because I want to make sure that the guys that are on it are up to speed. So yeah, let's start having the conversation as to how we can get your game and your skills better, and things will progress according to your efforts. So make sure that you get out of the house and stop making excuses as to why you're not going. I get it. Life is there, work, this, that, and the other, but there's a skill set at the end of this that's worth learning. As Mystery says, the rewards are high. So make sure that you definitely get out of the house and put into practice the things that we discuss on these Q&As and the things that I give off on Instagram and Facebook. I'm going to try to do a daily tip every day from now on, so make sure that you tune into that. I would also appreciate it if you guys can keep in mind that if you guys benefit from any of the things that you get from me, don't be scared to let me know that it's helping, because I get a lot of messages from guys every day, and I'm very appreciative of all the time that it takes for those guys to go in and write the long messages and comments of how much I've helped them, and that's awesome. So if this stuff is helping you, let me know that it is, and I will put out more content on those specialized topics. Or if you have an interest in something that hasn't been covered, let me know. We'll cover it on here. I'm genuinely trying to help you guys by doing these, because like I said, I normally don't do stuff for free, because if you guys don't invest, you don't commit usually. So for me to do all these, it's definitely to help you guys. It's definitely to give you guys a ton of value and to get your answers, so that you don't have to book Skype sessions or boot camps and things like that. So no excuses on not having any money and not getting your skill set up, because I'm trying to make it as easy as I can to make myself available for you guys to ask your questions. Alrighty? As always, I definitely appreciate you guys tuning in. There was not a lot of you guys today. However, this was a bit short notice. So for the numbers that I've been seeing back and forth here, I'm happy. So thank you again, guys. I really appreciate it. And tune in to next week for the Ask Colgate Live on Wednesday. Alrighty? Take care. Have a good one.